It is Hot 1019, and joining us right now, the one, the only, Mr. Ty Pennington. Good morning, Ty.
Good morning. How are you guys?
We are fantastic, man. And how about you? Are you a morning person or not usually?
Are you kidding me? I'm the guy who screams at everyone. I have to be a morning person. I'm the annoying guy who yells at you in a megaphone. Yeah, I'm a morning person.
We're very similar. You yell at people in a megaphone, and I yell at them in a microphone.
Yes.
Both very early in the morning. I was going to ask, do you remember we had a conflict, you and I, back in 2007, and it was when you were here in Billings, and you were building the house.
I do remember, Big J. Yes. I do.
And because it made it. I have to thank you, because that was my show was on the air for a few years at the time, but that was the first national news that this show got. We've made national news now 5 or 6 times since then, but that was the first time we made it on the national spectrum, thanks to you.
Well, I'm glad I could help.
Yes. I appreciate
awesome.
it. That's still one of the greatest, people bring that up still as like one of our greatest moments in the show and the best line is when you called in, you started it with, Big J, why all the hate? And so that's kind of like a line on the show now that people still use. What was it?
Yeah, you should use that as your morning sample.
I like it. What was that like from your point of view? Because I know, from my side of it, it was just awesome because it's like, well, now, hey, we're on TMZ, people are talking about us and stuff. When something like that happens in your life, is it like, do publicists call you and are people worried about it, or does it barely even, get on your radar? I always wonder that from like a celebrity, like recently.
Well, no, it happens a lot to me, like in the sense that people, I just meant with radio, whatever, just interviews, because people like, local media will want to talk to me about like what's going on, and like I totally want to talk to them, but I also, because of my shooting schedule, it's a little crazy because I'm actually in 2 locations at once because I do 2 builds at the same time. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes it'll be like, they're like, hey, this guy wants to do a radio interview with you. I said, yes, let's try and make that happen. Even when we were just in Joplin, like I met this girl who like would win cash if I could go into the radio station with her. They were like a $300 award, and I was trying to do it like all week to just make her day. But because of my shooting schedule, and like, it's a little bit much. People don't realize how much we actually do work and shoot. And but anyway, so yeah, sometimes I can't get to those guys, and sometimes they're like, well, wait a minute, he's here. I know he's here. I heard he was there. I heard he was here. Why can't he come in here? And so sometimes, it turns into that. And then you're like, okay, let's have an interview then. Let's have an interview.
I just wonder, like, because it happens, most recently, our news was Snooki was on the show, and I mentioned something about coming to Montana, and she said, where is Montana? Is Montana even a state? And so that made news, and I always wonder on that side of things. Like, obviously, we think it's a big deal because it's on E! News and all that, but I wonder from the celebrity side of it, like, does it even come onto your radar? Does, like, an agent call you and say, hey, there's a story on TMZ about you and that radio guy? Like, do you even hear about it, or is it so...
even when I arrive from whenever you go to any airport, there's some guy from TMZ there. So it's like, it's just life. It's life in the spotlight, But I don't know. I enjoy it. It adds excitement for me. Cool. But sometimes I just love anybody who's looking for a story, because I really, I'm just like, well, I can tell you what I had at the airport cafeteria today. That's some big news.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's like I read a book on my Kindle and got a sandwich.
Right, my Kindle was amazing. Yeah. Let me tell you. So, but yeah, I do know where Montana is. It's a beautiful damn state is what it is.
Yes, it is. It absolutely is. Yeah, you built that house up here for the Carter family back in 2007, which was very cool. Let's talk, before we run out of time here, let's get to the show we're talking about today, the Great Big American Auction, next Thursday on ABC. The easiest way to describe it is kind of like a new, modern, fun twist on Antiques Roadshow, I think is the best way to describe it. I'm sure you have a better description. Tell people kind of what the show's about.
Well, it's a lot of fun. Well, anyway, I'm a big collector of vintage things. I just like the smell of old things, like whether it be, vintage amps, guitars, or just mothballs. I just like the smell of mothballs. Yeah. And but for me, it's like I think in our attics and our basements and our storage units, there's so many things out there that could really sort of change our future that we've been holding on to from our past. And it was like, this is a show that not only helps people dig and find what they've got, but also if you think you might have something, come to us and we'll see what you've got. We teamed up with Heritage Auctions and really had some appraisers look at some really cool items, and like some of these things were just amazing because they each tell a story, whether it's this one guy brought in a picture of Marilyn Monroe he took when he was 14 back in the day on his Brownie camera, and he had it developed, and he went back to her hotel and had it signed, and he never even brought it out in public before. And you're like, dude, what were you holding on to this for? And just hearing that story and then talking to the guy who actually met her firsthand, and then seeing what it would go for. And the difference is with this, you really are going live to a real auction. You've got real bidders from around the world that are bidding against each other for these big name items. But for me, it's like the surprise. It's about somebody having a painting that they bought for $12, and then realizing this is a Dutch masterpiece that's going for thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So I love that, But there's also the disappointment. Somebody thought they had like Rodin sketches that end up being fakes.
I know. See, that's a cool thing too. I'm into, like you said, you like vintage stuff. I collect, like specifically, I collect vintage video cameras, like vintage camcorders, like Brownie. I've got a few of those. Like I love the look of those old cameras.
Yeah, you do the old Super 8s and stuff?
Yep. And I've got probably 25 different old cameras, and I love those, and they look good in my theater. And then I've got, but I collect art too, old art, and it's all, but I don't have the budget to buy like, thousands and thousands of dollars.
Sure.
So I find like these little nuggets, but like I have a what could be a Rembrandt etching from back in the day, but it's that same kind of thing where like very well could be fake, but then again, it could be real too. It's like I bought it from an estate collection from a guy who was the curator of a huge college art gallery, and Rembrandt was his favorite. So in my mind, it's like, why would this guy have a fake Rembrandt?
Right,
but who knows?
And then you're at the point that you're not sure you even want to have it checked out because you still want to hold on to the fact that it's probably an original.
Exactly, but it would be cool to me. Like, it's like I'm not so invested in it where it's like I would love to know. I would love to be on like the Great Big American Auction and have somebody look at it and tell me one way or the other. Either it's worth thousands and thousands of bucks, or like it's a cool old etching that's worth a few $100. Either way, though,
right.
That would be cool. Is this show is it like a special that's gonna air a few times, or is this like a full on? You're gonna do a full season?
I don't know. I know it's airing as a special right now, but I think it's a possibility this season if, like if things go well. So, I'd love to do it again. This is the kind of thing that I seriously love doing. I'm just a fan of finding old things, but not only that, but things that tell a story. And of course, if it can help somebody out and really sort of change their future at the same point, that's really right up my alley. So, yeah, I love doing it. Hopefully it'll do well and we can do it again because that was just a lot of fun.
Very cool. What else is going on aside from the Great Big American Auction, which airs next Thursday on ABC? What else is Ty Pennington up to?
Well, I've also got a daytime show coming out in January called The Revolution on ABC, which is a lot of fun. Me and four other co-hosts that we let's just say people who want to make changes in their life, whether in all aspects, sort of health, fitness, fashion. We've got a doctor, a psychiatrist. You got Tim Gunn from Project Runway, and then of course me, who sort of does the environment, change your surroundings. And what's really fun about this is we're going to see the journey of these hero women. Basically, in 5 months, you'll see them change in 5 days. So it's something that's never been done in daytime. So it's kind of cool. So I'll be doing a daytime show too. There just isn't enough time in the day, my friend.
I know. There's a lot going on for you. Well, we'll definitely check you out on the Great Big American Auction next Thursday on ABC, and hopefully we'll talk to you again in the future. Mr. Ty Pennington, for the second time. It's been fun, my man. Thanks so much for doing it, and good luck with the new shows.
Thanks, Big J.
All right, see you, Ty. Have a good one, man.
The Big J Show. Weekday mornings from 6 till 10 on Billings' #1 hit music station, Hot 101.9.